Welcome back to Find 'em, Fix 'em, Race 'em. I have to admit, I'm feeling about as sharp as a donut today. My next door neighbor had a Halloween party last night. I give him full credit for someone to come over to the neighbor, knock on the door, say, hey, we're having a party tonight. This is my number. If it gets too loud, text me, give me a call, let me know. I really appreciate that kind of, and since he did it that way, I wasn't going to say nothing. But as a result, I should have put earplugs in earlier. I couldn't get to sleep, so I was up till 2. I'm not an up till 2 guy anymore. Those days are gone. You know what I mean? But so I'm about as sharp as a donut today. So hopefully we don't mess anything up. But we're gonna try to put some Can-Am back together. That's the plan. Try to get the rear wheel on it, maybe get a chain on it, carburetor, airbox. We'll see how far we go. Finally ready to put a carburetor back on this bad boy. I have this just to keep stuff from falling in there until I get the airbox and stuff on it. But this is a tight carburetor. Wow. She's pretty tight with that new boot. Maybe I need to back that off even a little more. I don't know. Try backing her off just a touch. New boot is pretty tight. There it goes. She's in. So there just ain't much room, and the carburetor bowl's almost hitting on the frame. With this rotary valve setup, it just puts the carburetor lower. So it definitely is a little more challenging to do jetting changes and things like that. But that's the trade-off, the rotary valve, I guess. And the rotary valve was the hot ticket. These were fast bikes in the 70s. By the 80s, they were getting a little long in the tooth. And, they weren't quite as dominant as they used to be. And they weren't the new fancy bike on the block, but they were still good bikes, I hope. You hear some of these tests and you're just like, man, these people are just ripping this bike. But, magazines like to sell magazines. And if you're not changing your bike much, they rip into you. But it doesn't mean the bike is bad. It just means they didn't change it much. So hopefully she's not terrible. Does that look pretty good all the way around? Can you tell me? Yeah, it looks pretty good. It could have been a little more pushed back on that side. So I guess I'll loosen it up. I don't know if it's really makes any difference. But I like to have them so they're nice and flush. I don't know if you can see anything, but get her all the way up there like that. Nice and flush. And it may pull it off from being nice and flush when it tightens down, but I tried. That seems taut. She's taut. We're gonna call that good. This actually goes on the carburetor. I probably should have put it on before I put the carburetor on. That would have been the smart thing, because now I'm gonna have just a nightmare trying to tighten it up. I probably should take it back off. I love going backwards. That's my favorite. Going backwards is my favorite thing to do. Yeah. So we'll loosen this up after we spent all that time
straightening it out, making sure it was in there straight, making sure everything was gonna go in and come out, and now it's all tight, and now it doesn't want to come back out, and you're just like, okay. Would have it gone together better if my neighbors hadn't kept me up until 2 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. You know, these kind of things are things I can't answer. But anyways, so this is how this whole setup works. The hose clamp is actually inside the carburetor, which is a very interesting way to do it. That's the way it's done. Oh, who cleaned this? I thought this was supposed to be clean. That ain't clean. That ain't clean at all. Okay, well, I guess we'll take this off and, oh yeah, I don't know who cleaned this. Must have been blind, because there's all kinds of goo down in here, which you don't want, because this is inside your air boot. This is where the clean air is supposed to be. There's a little divot right here in the air boot where you can see that's where the hose clamp resided before. That's how I figured out how this thing went together. And I'm pretty sure that's probably supposed to go to the top. I don't know, but that's where I'm putting it. You really should only have to, you know, you really shouldn't ever really have to take this off, to be honest, because it's not something that needs to come off. Yeah, there's just, I mean, there's just no room. There's probably a Can-Am guy out there going, well, this is what you do. And they probably know how to do this because they've done it 100 times, but I have never done this particular operation of a ratchet on a carburetor once ever in my, you know, I've been racing, it'll be 30 years next year. And I've seen a few bikes, but I've never seen this particular design, so I don't know what the best way to do it is. When you're not working off a lot of sleep and you're trying to do something you've never done before that seems a bit fiddly and, quite honest, a weird and strange design. I'm not saying it's a bad design because, you know, it's a clamp. As long as it clamps, I mean, that's what a clamp does. Just trying to keep it on here straight-ish while I tighten it down. Oh, that's pretty good, I guess. You just gotta kind of get her kind of snugged where you get some friction, and then, I mean, I guess, I don't know if it's supposed to go on further than that. If it's supposed to go all the way down. But I'm just going flush with the end of the carburetor, which gives me a little bit of, you know, extra there. I don't know if that's right. I'll probably put it together and have to take it back apart again. That'll be fun. Let's go ahead and put this on. It's gonna be riveting. I know everybody's like, this is so riveting. Watching someone put a carburetor on, but you know, when you never put a carburetor on a particular motorbike that's a different design than any other bike that you've ever rode, sometimes shit's a little different. Okay, we got that back up there where we want her to be. Go ahead and snugging her down. Yeah, I have no idea if this is gonna be a good camera angle. That screwdriver doesn't seem to want to fit in there. So only my muddy screwdriver works for this part. All right, got a little bit of tension on. Just make sure this is pushed up there pretty even and snug. Snug as a bug in a rug. say if you turn it and you can see the rubber turn instead of the carburetor boot, or the carburetor turn inside the boot, it's tight enough. You know, maybe give it just a little extra, but it seems pretty tight. I'm gonna cut it, but that should be tight enough. Not a lot of air power, but we'll take a look, make sure there's no big chunks anywhere in here. Looks pretty clean. Well, we're gonna try to shoehorn this in here. I got my hook tool and I kind of have it started on the back side here. I'm just trying to work the rubber around the air box so I can kind of, actually it's going somewhat kind of good, I guess. It doesn't seem to be wanting to. There we go. You can just kind of push it from the front, apparently. So we're learning some new information on how to put this on. All right. So when you want to do a jetting change or something like that, you just have to loosen this clamp. This is confusitating toward my mind because I can't tell. Okay, yeah, the rubber piece is all the way on. Just trying to figure out where the clamp goes. I guess the clamp goes right up against there. So we just need to take some slop out of this clamp, get a little bit tighter, and there's like a little lip on the airbox lid that it'll go up against, so that looks good. So we just need to tighten this up a little bit. I would normally not, be worrying so much about putting a carburetor on, but this particular airbox is just considerably different than anything I've ever worked on. Now, is that too tight? Might be a skosh. Just trying to get it tight enough where it'll slide, but not so tight where I can't adjust it. Just don't want to break that plastic. Okay, so in theory, that is on, and that shouldn't leak in theory. I did use filter oil on this on the inside too. It's kind of a pain because you can't, since this inner filter is bonded to the rubber, you can't squeeze it like you normally would. So you kind of had to squeeze it on the inside and outside with a paper towel. It was a pain in the butt to get the filter oil out. I don't know if you're supposed to, like in the can, I'm sure it had to be done. I actually put regular grease. This is no toil. I usually use their grease, but on this particular application, the grease doesn't go on the actual filter element. It's on the plastic and on the rubber. So hopefully I can just use regular grease on that. And if all goes well, hopefully I can get this thing to start again and not cross thread and tighten up. But I don't really know how I did it the first time, to be 100% honest. So maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. That feels like it's going. That seems tight enough. And now that stop's taken out because it holds those two pieces together. The filter kind of sandwiches this tray and the filter together, and it squeezes it to make it one thing. So the airbox is in, the carburetor's on, airbox is on, air filter's on. We're making some progress. You know, it's slow, but we're making a little progress, so that's good. Always want to grease up your axle bolt so it doesn't seize in there. Put a little oil lip right here, and grease on this lip just to try to keep that water out. And the same on the inside. Actually. So there is a spacer here. That is loose in here, but there is a spacer on the inside. You want to make sure you have that spacer, this spacer on the inside in there. Otherwise, your brake might not be working properly. So you got that spacer, and then there's like a sleeve here. I don't know if I should put a little, I think I already did put some grease on that, actually. That goes there. And then we're just gonna put this wheel on. And then I need to set the chain up. I need to tighten the sprocket down and see about sprocket alignment and all kinds of fun stuff. But we gotta get that going. So. That goes there. Whether or not it'll stay there or not is a different story. I know the last time I put this thing on, it just wasn't all that much fun to get on. But, you know, it is what it is. What it is. Yeah. It's just tight. And there goes that. It's so tight in there. And there goes that. See if you can break your magnesium brake hub. Make sure that's still in there. It is. Okay. I mean, when you're lining this bad boy up, you're really gonna line it up pretty well to be able to get it in there. But okay. That's through. That went better than the last time I did it, I think. Just make sure your spacer's still there. Give her a little rat-a-tat-tat. Put your snail adjuster on, your washer, and your nut. That's about as far forward as she's gonna go. Pretty close. I just want to get her, you know, in the general area to figure out how long I need to make this chain. So this is the stock chain guard. It just goes on this torque arm, which keeps the rear brake from spinning when you press it. I don't know if you can see down in here, but she's straight down to the bolts on the bottom. That shiny stuff in the bottom, that's where it's actually on the bolts, and I couldn't find these. Actually, I think maybe somebody had posted one that would work, but I actually found this doohickey on eBay. Some guy made it for himself, and it basically bolts on here, and then it's adjustable, and it has this roller bearing, which has a bearing inside of it, which is probably a little bit, and you can actually use this to adjust the chain a little bit too, because it's got these big slots. So I ended up buying this. I think it was like 45, 50 bucks from this guy on eBay. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount up this, and then put the brake torque arm on, and then probably start with some chain stuff. Get these off. Wow. Yeah, it was wearing into the bolts just a skosh, and they had obviously flipped this over because it's worn out on both sides. I mean, this side's wore out even worse, but both sides have just completely wore out. I may have to cut this bolt off because I don't know if I can get the washer over it. Oh, it did. It went. But you can see there's a pretty big, two nice U's ore in the bolt, so that's nice. So I'm just gonna put this back together. I'll save this in case if this doesn't work out, I'll still have this old system I can always fall back on. Because you never want to get rid of anything completely. Because otherwise, how are you going to keep your garage full of a bunch of crap? Exactly. So you need to have, you know, random pieces of really worn out 40-year-old crap. So I found some hardware to attach my new chain slider, and I tightened that up. So we just need to put the brake arm on now. Just a little sleeve in here that I greased. And it has these two little cups that I also greased, like that. And then this goes in here. Yay. Pretty sure that's the way it goes. And then it goes on the back side. I'm not gonna tighten it up yet. And then this one does basically the same thing back here, except it goes on. I don't know why it's hitting on that. Why are you hitting on that? You gotta put the back one on first, maybe? May have to put the back one on first. Oh, I didn't bring the grease. Yeah, that should, yeah, just gotta put the back one on first. So my little sleeve is in there. I'll put my little cuppy on. Put my other little cuppy on. Spin the old brake. Like that. Wipe all the excess grease off your hands, because you put way too much on everywhere. And then hopefully, oh no, we lost one of the cups, didn't we? Yeah. What? Okay, yeah. Then put these cups in, tear the end of your finger completely off. Put this one through there, put that one through on the back, and now we have a trailing arm that holds your brake. Oh, I don't know what that was about. Oh yeah, I haven't tightened these up, so I just smashed it on that. Hopefully it didn't break the magnesium hub. Okay, there we go. So that's on. So now we have this. We can adjust the brake up and down, or the chain adjustment up and down with that. That's gonna be fun to adjust, I can already tell. Let's see about this chain. See if I can figure out how long I need to make it. Good deal, master link. Need that. Chain, need that. Okay. No, do not do that. So that'd be like that. We'd be taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 links out. So we got our chain breaking tool. I think I'm gonna take 8 links out. I could be wrong. I may have to take one more, but I think I'm gonna take 8. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you always have to leave on a link like this. If you cut this one, you need the master link to be able to go through it. So you have to cut it at this length. And I have this chain breaking tool. It's a Motion Pro one. What you do is you put this what you should do is, you know, have it like more ready, and then now recount it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So you put this like this. You screw this down on it over the top of the rivet like that, and then you use this, and it'll actually push the pin right out. Should push it out pretty easy. As I say, it should push it out pretty easy. Have it in the right place, but maybe I don't have it in the right place, because that's a little harder than I would think it would normally be. Great. Okay, well, I would think it would just start pushing it out, but it's going. And there's the pin. Don't need that. Then you just need to run this back, loosen up this, and now you have that, and you can put a master link on it, and hopefully we cut it at the right length. These are pretty handy. They're great for O-ring change because you really need to squeeze an O-ring chain to get the clip on it. Also good for street bike chains where you have to press fit them where they don't have a master link. This Motion Pro tool works great for all that. So you can just, you can take a grinder and grind the rivet off and then take a punch and punch it out. That works if you don't have this, but this is easier, in my opinion. Works pretty good. I would say it's well worth the money. I don't know if I should actually put this. I'm gonna put this on, but I'm not gonna put the clip on it yet, I guess. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I still gotta, tighten the sprockets. But I think maybe I may need to take one link out of there. That may be too loose. But always better too long than too short, fellas. You can always make it shorter. You can't always make it longer. I'm not a big fan of these snail adjusters without, like on the KDX, they have like little notches, which I don't mind. But this, it's like, well, you get a snail adjuster, but you don't get, why not have the little indents and the little things so you have like presets? It seems like it's going to be hard to get even, but I could be wrong. Sprocket bolts on these are 15 to 20 foot-pounds, which seems like it would be about right for the size bolt. I try to do them in a crisscross kind of thing. You got to try to line them up so you can put the tab on here. So I'm just going to torque it, bend the tab over, and then go to the other side, torque it, bend the tab over. So nothing too overly exciting or hard. Okay, one down, rinse and repeat. Nothing too overly exciting there. Got a little more work done. Put gas in the tank, and the other tank leaked like a sieve, so I had to take the tank off the other one and put on this one, which was kind of a pain. I put transmission oil in it, got the throttle cable hooked up. I think it's ready to start. Hopefully. Not ride, it's got no brakes. Well, it's got a front brake, but I don't even have a gear shifter on it. I don't think I have a kill switch. I'll use the choke, I guess, to kill it. Hopefully that'll work. Or it'll run out of gas. I'll turn the gas off. Hopefully that's if it starts. Like I said, I've never started this bike. I've never heard this bike run. I do know it has spark and it has compression. It should have fuel because I cleaned the carburetor. And the guy said the reason he didn't ride this bike is because it wouldn't idle. And the reason it wouldn't idle is the slow jet was plugged. So that's probably why it wouldn't idle. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's all that was wrong with it. So I think we're gonna give her a kick, see if it starts. That'd be fun. I've never kicked a bike left-footed much. It's proving to be very weird. So I'll just kick it over here like this. Okay, that's fun. Knock my foot right off.